Good morning. Welcome to today's webinar. We'll just wait for a minute or two for everyone to join in, and then we'll start. We'll wait for one more minute. All right, we'll start now. Good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to today's webinar. I'm Prasenjit. I work as the program manager at LGP. I'll quickly let the team introduce themselves as well.
Okay, I can go first. Hi, I'm Ambika. I'm the program lead for the Lodha Genius Programme at Ashoka. Happy to have you all here on a Saturday.
Hey everyone, Manisha this side. I'm working as a manager for the operations and partnerships, and we welcome you to our webinar. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Siddharth. I'm working as assistant manager at LGP. Nice to meet you all today. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm Utsav. I'm working as a deputy manager for the outreach for the Lodha Genius Program. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining. My name is Rehan. I'm also working as a deputy manager of operations, and very happy to see you all here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kishore, and I'm working with the Science Advisory Council of Ashoka University, and I'm also supporting LGP team in terms of its operations.
Great. First things first, there are multiple features that you would be seeing on your Zoom. The webinar structure usually looks like first we give some information and then we open up the space for Q&A. So there would be a Q&A section in the panel that you see. So do post your questions, whichever that you have there. Refrain from putting your questions in the chat because it is very likely for the question to get missed in the text. But if you put it in Q&A, be rest assured that all of your questions would be answered. There is also an avenue for raise hand feature, which you can avail if you want to ask questions to the larger group. Yes, so quickly of course, this webinar is also being recorded. If you wish to revisit any of the information that is shared here, we are also sharing the information via link to the previous webinars. Of each of these webinars cover different topics related to the program. So the link to the webinars is in the chat box. If you have any further questions which you do not get answered either through the webinars, you can always write to us on our email ID along with the helpline numbers that are being shared. Right. So today's webinar is going to be about the online admission test and along with that, a certain timelines. But before we delve into that, a quick introduction about the Lodha Genius Program. So Lodha Genius Program is a collaborative initiative between the Lodha Foundation and Ashoka University. It is a fully funded program for high school students from grade 9 to grade 12. And it's a year-long program. So we start off with 1 month engagement at Ashoka University, followed by there is an online engagement and mentorship access that happens through LGP Continued Learning. And we do believe that students who are part of LGP, we want them to also go beyond LGP and get access to opportunities to different organization and research institutions or competitions at a national level and at an international level. So the students who consistently demonstrate a good performance and potential, we do also provide them different opportunities where they can hone their career interests or academic interests further. And of course, all of these avenues that we provide are fully free. You do not have to pay a single penny out of your pocket for any once you are in the LGP ecosystem. So this is broadly how the journey of a student at LGP looks like. I'll quickly delve a little bit deeper into the on-campus engagement, which happens at Ashoka University uh, from May 17th to June 17th. Right. So a few of the interventions that we have, one is the Academic Bridge Program, which happens online and it happens before LGP on campus starts. This is essentially for students who wish or who think they need some enhancement in their English communication skills or about how to present your ideas more effectively, how to communicate more effectively. That is one aspect that is there. The second is the science projects and workshops. For essentially grade 9 and grade 10 students, it would be science projects, science workshops. For grade 11 and grade 12, it would be science projects. Each of these workshops and projects are designed in such a way that they are interdisciplinary. So for example, it won't be that you would only be studying physics. It would be a mix of physics and some other subject. And all of them are very hands-on. Which means that it won't be just for you to sit in a class and learn. You would be working on different projects or different activities through the course, through the duration of these projects and workshop. Thirdly, there is something called as Great Ideas Seminar, in which renowned scientists and industry leaders from India and globe. They come to Ashoka to have an interaction with the LGP students. And of course, you would have avenue to interact with them while the seminar is happening or even outside the seminar if you can catch hold of them and you can have a conversation with them. After that, there is mathematics, which would be slightly advanced and different than the mathematics that you currently experience at school. It is more on the application of mathematics to the real world. And also it would be very much activity based. So again, it won't essentially be solving problems. It would slightly be much more interesting than that. Lastly, we do have some workshops which happen over the weekend. And those workshops are a mix of it is slightly on the fun aspect and the application aspect of science. B, there would be some workshops which would be dedicated to imbibe life skills in you, such as say financial literacy or design thinking. Some tangible skills that you would essentially not be learning at school, but are very crucial in life. Uh, and along with that, there are extracurricular activities. There's a webinar that we have covered which is called as on-campus facilities, which you can again refer to if you haven't, to get a wider scope of sense of what all things are present in Ashoka University, what all things can you do outside the program schedule. So do have a look at that. Key dates for the program. The applications have started. They have been open since December 1st. In case you have registered and you have completed your application, well and good. If you are part of this webinar and you are yet to apply for LGP, please do apply, because the application closes tomorrow, which is 26th of January. So I would strongly urge you to start your application and see and try to finish it today itself, to avoid any technical issues that may arise tomorrow, because there would be a lot of people submitting, and unfortunately we would not be able to make any exceptions if your application does not get submitted by tomorrow, or any deadline extensions as well. Once your applications are submitted, there is going to be an online admission test, which will happen on Feb 8th. Between the time slots, we will let you know. But for that, it would be an online test that you have to give. You can give it from anywhere. Once the online admission tests are done, there would be a set of online interviews. I will delve a little deeper into as we proceed with the webinar. Cut short to May 17th to June 16th would be your LGP on-campus duration, where you will be spending an entire 1 month at Ashoka University. And once you are done with your LGP on-campus engagement, there is something called as LGP continued learning, which we spoke in the previous some time ago. It would start from July 25th, July 2025, and it will go on till December. Right. So currently, who all are eligible? So students who are currently in grade 10 till grade 11, which means that by May 2025, when the LGP on campus starts, you will be in grade 9 to grade 12. They are eligible to apply for this program. The selection process looks like the first step is, of course, that we discussed. You have to submit an online application form, followed by which there would be an LGP online admission test. Once you are shortlisted in that test, you will be invited for an online interview. And once you are selected through the interview, you would be part of LGP cohort. So we'll look at the first part of it, which is the online application form, how to submit an online application form. You have to visit the Lodha Genius Program website, which is www.lodhageniusprogram.com. Maybe we can share this website link also in the chat. Once you land on the website, you will see an apply now section. Click on apply now, and you will be guided to this page. There essentially you have to sign up using your email ID, and then you have to start filling the application form. There is an avenue also. If you see here, there is an easy access to the admission process guideline document. We would suggest that you have a thorough look at the guideline document before you start filling or start your application process, so that you have a fair idea on what all sections are there and what all things and what all documents you should keep in handy while you are applying, so that it becomes a much more smoother and easier process. Irrespective, if you encounter any issues or if you have any doubts during your application, you can write to us on the email ID, or you can directly call us on our helpline numbers as well. So this is roughly the process of the online application form. Once you are done submitting your application, you would get an application ID. Do make a note of it, followed by which there would be an online admission test. So today we'll mostly delve onto the online admission test of LGP. So there are basically 3 tracks of LGP applicants. One is called as a junior track, which is for students who are from grade 9 and grade 10. For grade 11 and grade 12 students, there would be science track and a mathematics track. You would have gotten those track options while filling your application form itself. The online test has 2 parts. There is a part A and part B. The duration of test is going to be for 1 hour, and it does not have any negative marking. So if you look at the test structure, part A remains same for junior track, science track, and mathematics track, which consists of logical and analytical reasoning and basic mathematics. So you would encounter questions like statement and conclusion, pattern recognition, uh, and along with that, some basic mathematics question, which would not essentially require very advanced concepts or formulae. It would be on the very fundamental applications of mathematics. So the total questions that you will have would be 60. All the questions are multiple choice questions, which would mean there is only a single option correct, and you just have to select that option. The duration of part A is going to be of 30 minutes. So you have to solve 60 questions in 30 minutes, and the maximum score that you can get is 1 point. So for every correct answer, you get 1 point. And for an incorrect answer, of course, there is no negative marking. Now, part B is different for different tracks. So part B, for the junior track and science track, it would consist of scientific inquisitiveness and social intelligence, which would have questions, which would require you to have a sort of uh, scientific thinking to your approach, which essentially there is no external preparation required for it, but you would be given a certain situational questions, and then you would be asked how to respond. Now, those situational questions, of course, some of them are based in the context of science. Some of them are based in the context of interpersonal relationship. For example, how would you respond in a certain conflict during the group discussion within your team? And these are the kind of situations that you would encounter in your everyday life, be it working on your school projects or something. So it would just be those kind of situation. And for us and for you to respond, how would you address that? Uh, the total number of questions that you would have would be 50. The duration again would be of 30 minutes, and the score that you can get, the maximum score is 50 marks. Uh, for part B, it would be advanced mathematics. This would essentially cover grade 11, grade 12 mathematics. The number of questions that you would encounter would be 40. The duration is again 30 minutes, and the maximum score that you can get is 40 marks. So to summarize, the part A, which is logical and analytical reasoning and basic mathematics, remains same for all the tracks, which is for grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. For students who have opted for mathematics track, they would encounter advanced mathematics section or test as a part of their part B. And for students who have opted for science track, and along with, of course, the junior track for default, they would be encountering questions based on scientific inquisitiveness and social intelligence. So that is roughly how the test structure and the duration looks like. Now, the next part is how do you access the test? So closer to the test, you will receive an email on your registered email ID. So whichever email ID that you have used while signing up for LGP, or which you have provided during the LGP application, please do keep checking that. Do keep checking your inbox folder, to keep a track on your spam folder in case the email goes to the spam, to check if you are getting any emails. On your registered email ID, you would get an email from this mcat@email.com for an invitation to the online admission test. The test duration would be between 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it would be on February 8th, which means that between this window, you can start your test at any point. And once you start the test, you won't be able to close it. You have to complete it within the 1 hour of the test, which automatically, of course, there would be timer and it would start. But there is a flexibility within the time in case if you have any other commitments or something, you can just plan it out in such a way that you give the test within the specified window. Okay, so once you click on this test, either you can click on start now, or if the start now button is not working, there is a larger link as well. You can copy paste this link in the browser and you will be guided to this dialog box, which will require certain of your some of your information, such as student's first name, your last name, your registered email ID, basically the same email ID that you have provided during the application. And along with that, your LGP application number. So once you submit your application, you would be getting a confirmation that your application has been submitted. And along with that, you would be getting an LGP application number as well. And nonetheless, we will also be sharing this on your registered email ID closer to the test so that you can easily make a note of it or access it. So what you have to essentially put here is the last 6 digits of your application number. So if you look at this, the format would be pretty much same, which is 90-20-24, and the last 6 digits is something that you have to put. So once you fill in your application number, click on this button, and once you select I agree to terms and conditions, you can click on continue. After clicking, you would be guided to this instructions. Take some time and go through this instructions thoroughly so that you get a sense of the test structure, the test duration. There's no negative marking. How do you use your time? What all preparations you require? Keep a pen and paper handy for rough work. And the use of calculators is also allowed. The test is auto-proctored. So and of course, I'll also talk about it later and in detail. And along with that, there's a disqualification policy. In case an applicant is found using any of the things which we did not, we specifically asked not to do. So if you are involved in any malpractice, you can be disqualified from the test portal, and the LGP team reserves right to revoke their candidature immediately. So do look through the applications and do look through the instructions thoroughly and be well versed with what all things are doable and not doable, and adhere to the instructions while you are applying for the test. Now, once you are done, there is something called as test ID that you will see. Do make a note of your test ID. On the dialog box, you will see part A and part B, which will give you a sense of what are the focus areas, how many number of questions are there, and what would be the duration, right? And once you have thoroughly read this and once you have understood this, click on next. Yeah. So this is how your online LGP online test interface would look like. So your questions will come to the left of the left of the screen. Your options would be on the right of the screen. There is a timer which would be on the top of the screen, which will give you an idea on the number of the amount of time that you have remaining till part A completes. Yeah. For if in case you wish to use a magnifier tool, you can click on accessibility, select magnifier, which will just increase the size of the text. So in case you have an issue with a specific font size, or you are unable to look at the screen clearly, you can of course use this tool to be able to give your test without any hurdles. So once you reach any of the questions, you would be, and if you are unsure of the questions, if you are not able to solve this question, you can click on the skip button, which would essentially take you to the next question. Along with that, if you are sure of certain answer and if you select one of the options, there are two options. One is review later, and other is submit answer. So review later would essentially allow you to mark an option. And of course, like how it says, towards the end of the test, you can revisit that question. You can revisit the option that you have marked. And if you are sure of the answer that you have marked and you would like to proceed to the next question, you can click on submit answer. There is a panel to the right of it where you can see all these numbers. This essentially shows the number of questions that are there. The questions that you would have like you would have answered and clicked on submit answer, they would show in this green. So the cell color will change. For example, if you see here, there are certain questions which are in gray, which means that these questions are the ones which you are yet to visit. The questions which show in green are the ones which you have marked an option for and clicked on submit answer. The questions for which you see this brown color, this is essentially says that these are the questions that you have skipped, and the question for which you have marked review later would have this yellow/orange color, and it will show that these are the questions that you have marked for review. How is this useful? Towards the end of the test, when you have to just have a look at, oh, how many questions or which are the questions that you have skipped, which are the questions which you have marked for review later, you can revisit those questions directly by clicking on these question numbers, and you will be directed to that specific question. So that is something that is the use case for this. It shows the status of your questions, right? Once you have completed all the questions, or even if you have not completed, whichever questions for which you have submitted a response, which is either through submit answer or through review later, those responses will be considered as your final response once the timer hits 30 minutes, right? And then there is this review page that will come, where it will give you an idea of the number of questions that you have skipped, the number of questions that you have marked for review. So this is, of course, after the last question. Once you attempt the 50, once you attempt the 50th question, if you still have time, you can, of course, revisit the questions in the order or review the skip questions first. And if you are very sure with it, you have to click on submit assessment. Once you click on submit assessment, it will give you another dialog box that you won't be able to then review or change your answers. Irrespective, if you are very sure, click on submit, which will take you to part B. Now it will currently, this is the same page that we saw before the start of part A. Now here, if you see, it shows complete for part A, which means that your part A responses and test is successfully completed and submitted. The upcoming one is part B, which again shows the focus area along with the number of questions and the duration. You click on next, and then it would be the similar process where you will see the questions and you have to give responses. After the submission, again, you will get a review page for part B in specific. You can review your questions, you can revisit the skipped questions, and once you are sure with all the responses that you have given, and if you have time, that is, you can click on submit assessment and your test would be completed. You'll get a message that your test is now complete. Thank you. And after that, we will take some time to review, look at your test scores overall, and then we only to the shortlisted candidates we will reach out for an online interview. So that is the later part of the process. There are some do's and don'ts which I just want to tell. Preferably, of course, the test you can give, you can appear for test using your desktop or laptop systems, using your smartphones and tablets. But we would prefer if you can use a laptop or desktop to attempt the test. In case you don't have access to one, then it is fine. By all means, use whichever other device that you have access to and are comfortable with. Please do ensure that you are in a quiet environment with a stable power supply and a reliable internet connection during the test so that you don't accidentally get logged out. In case if that happens wherein you are logged out of the test due to some power issue or just disruption in internet, you can of course click on the test link again, and there is an option for resume test. So click on resume test, Of course, your timer will start from where it was before, and then you can just complete your test. If you're using the smartphone, do ensure that you turn off your push notifications to avoid any distractions. So a few of the don'ts tab, while you are giving the test on your desktop or laptop, do not open new tabs or do not switch tabs or attempt to copy question text during the test. Uh, if done so, the test portal may log you out and your test might end at that point, right? If you are using the smartphone, do not open any other apps or take calls during the test. Please ensure that during the time that you are giving the test via your smartphone or tablet, the only screen that is active is your test window, test browser screen. Yeah. Do not attempt to take photos or screenshots. All this proctoring is available on the portal. We would get to know if such things happen. And like I initially said towards the start of the webinar, if such a thing happens, and if we find that you are in a position of compromise where you have not adhered to the instructions that were told before, we do hold the right to disqualify the candidature of that applicant. Right. Now, another thing is with all this test and everything, whatever I have told, you can always access to this using the online test admission test guideline document. How do you access that? You visit the website on www.lodhageniusprogram.com. Click on About Us. And once you go to About Us section, scroll to the bottom of that section, and you will find this download section in that, in which there are all these three documents. One is, of course, the LGP brochure, the other is application process guideline, and the third one is the LGP online admission test. Why you would, so this would give you a much more clearer idea on how the structure, the three tracks which I mentioned initially about the junior track, mathematics and science, it gives you information about that. It also gives you much more detailed information on the test structure. Along with that, the interface that we had a look at. And lastly, it also covers the sample questions. So if you would want to have a sense of what kind of questions you should expect in the test, you would be able to access it using the online admission test handbook. I think that is it. It was a lot of information, I guess. I'll take a pause here and now we'll open the space for questions. So if you have any questions, you may now raise hands and ask it here as well. Or if there are any recurring questions in Q&A which you would like to just bring it up, I can answer those as well.
Should we just go first for the raised hands one?
Yes. In case there are no raised hands, then we can go for
There are, yeah.
frequently asked. Okay, so let's go with the raised hands.
Okay, so there is somebody called RA. RA, you can ask your question.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
What type of calculators are allowed in the exam? Can you use graphical calculators?
Yeah, you can use.
Can you use calculators in
Yes.
the code?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And is there any way for us to know if we're not selected?
No, so we will put forth in the website once the test results are out, but do keep checking your emails. If in case you do not receive an email, but unfortunately it would be difficult for us to let everyone know if they have selected or not selected. So we'll be reaching out only to the shortlisted candidates.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
how many students are you selecting this year?
So our cohort size is going to be 300, which of course would be a mix of the previous LGP students because it's a loop-in program. And once you're part of LGP, you can keep coming in and engage in different capacities, of course, through the course. But along with that, it is roughly difficult for us to give a precise figure. But to put things in context, it would be 300 cohort size for this year.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Next we go to Avanti. Avanti Balirao.
Yes. Hi. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm a POC from Pune, and last time also I asked a question similar to that, whether I have to fill the forms for the students that I've registered, or the students have to fill it, or you all have already filled the form for them. Because we had filled the information of the students in an Excel sheet.
Correct. So then in that case, it is not required. Your
This is from
POC,
Avanti, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, no additional form in that case.
So I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fill the forms for the students, right?
No, no.
So then how do they receive the mail then from
So they will, on the email ID that you would have provided for the students,
okay.
they will get a very similar email as all the applicants as well, mentioning their application number and all of the details. But if you could convey to the students to make a note or keep a track of their email ID, nonetheless, we'll be sharing that. On the email ID that is shared in the sheet, that is where they'll receive all the communications going forward.
Yes. And they will have to attempt the same test, right? Mathematics.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's go to you, Kane. Oh, sorry. By mistake, I did it for Isas.
Can I speak then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to ask, apart from the test guideline documents, would we have any other way to get some sample questions?
There is no other way. Sample questions in the test guideline document is also for you to get a sense of what kind of questions are being asked. Rest of the questions for the similar type, there would be a lot of online resources available that you can refer to in case you wish to practice more.
There'll be resources for LGP specifically?
No, so there are no dedicated resources per se for LGP, nor does LGP also endorse any particular resources that you can refer to for test.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You don't have to worry so much about preparing. If you have a bent for math and science, you just have to be really calm and do it. Okay. Next is okay. I'll now activate you, Kane. You can speak.
Yeah, hi. Just a hardware-related question. I presume you would be needing a, web camera attached to the computer?
Not essentially. We do not require a webcam.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was the question. Thank you.
Okay. Next is Sanskriti. Sanskriti can talk.
Good morning, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Actually, I submitted my application, but I did not get any email confirming or the application number regarding that matter. So what can I do?
Ideally, you should have received, if you can just check your inbox as well as spam folder. If you still haven't received, you can just write to us on the email ID that is shared in the chat with your name, full name, and your registered email and the phone number. And then we will share with you your application ID. Irrespective, like even though closer to the test, we will share that details to all the applicants. But
One more question. What can I refer to for the test?
there are no reference materials that we give. You can have a look at the test guideline document that we shared some time ago. I mean, that we showed some time ago through the About Us section of the website. Have a look at the sample questions. Use those sample questions as a reference. There would be a lot of online research, online materials that you can refer to, and then that is how you prep if you wish to. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, go to Manglam. Manglam Kumar. Can you unmute yourself and ask a question? Okay. I think this candidate is not there. We go to Radhika. Radhika, you can ask your question. Radhika, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm from Bangalore. Very recently, I came to know about this program and I applied for this for my daughter.
Mhm.
So I have three questions. One is
Mhm.
how this will helpful for the student's career. Second, what is the objective of Lodha for doing this free of cost for these many students? And the third is that who all will be there, who all the faculty who are going to take these workshops when student gets selected and participates in the program.
Right. So for the first question, if you could refer to the very first webinar of ours, that will give you a very clearer sense on what this program is and how it benefits student. For your third question, who all are the faculty, I would suggest you if you could have a look at the website to look at what kind of courses are covered, which all faculty takes these courses, and what are the organization affiliations of these faculty members. Regarding your second question, why is Lodha doing this? The essential idea is that for a lot of students, school has, of course, a defined curriculum, and everyone is on the similar track. And there could be avenues where there are students who have much more potential, but that potential remains untapped because of the structured curriculum. So the intention of Lodha Genius program was to create an alternative education model where students who have demonstrated potential can come, and we can give them a set of interventions where they can hone their academic career interests further. Uh, and why is it fully funded? Because, of course, high potential does not equate to well resources. And there would be a lot of students who would not have access to social and economic capital. And to be able to bridge that gap, we wanted to make it affordable. Not there's no affording. We wanted to make it accessible to all. So that is the reason it is fully funded, and that is the reason why Lodha Genius program has come into conceptualizing and implementation. Do you want
Just to
anything to add?
Yeah, just to give an additional perspective, so Lodha first, so in India, every private company who earns profit has to put 1 to 2% into something called corporate social responsibility, which is called CSR. And so they can do, I mean, every company can be indulging in various activities where you actually do some societal good. And this is compulsory. This is a mandate from the government of India. So when they partnered with us in the CSR, they realized, like Prasenjit said, for the very relevant points, why funding education in this country is important. So for which they actually started something called the Lodha Philanthropic Foundation, LPF, where around 20,000 crores are pledged for various education initiatives. And this has to do with women empowerment, child, opportunities for the female students, and programs like ours. So these are the different motivations which drove Lodha to actually fund for it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. One more question is that where are those webinars available? You are quoting
It's
about
shared in
some
the
webinar,
chat.
right?
We can reshare it again. Siddharth,
So
could you please reshare
yeah,
it?
so it's just shared now also. So there are four or five times Siddharth has shared it. So now also at 11:37 a.m. If you look at that time point, you will get the thing. I mean, it's right there, the second last chat.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Yeah. So next we can go to Kajal. Kajal Arora.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yeah.
So my question is, can you arrange a mock test for the students so that they can get familiar with the test pattern?
There's unfortunately we can't do that. But what we could do was to give familiarity to the test interface so that no time goes in figuring out which features are available where, and to the nature of questions. So that is that is the support that we are planning to give, but there are no mock tests available.
Okay, my concern is actually my son has not given any test, so maybe he got confused. He will get confused in the test. That's why I'm asking for a mock test.
So what I would suggest is, like if you would have looked at the structure, it's essentially how many number of questions you can solve in how less in like dedicated 30 minutes, right? So the test is mostly on just the speed. If what I would suggest is, if your ward can practice few set of questions so that there is some sense of confidence in what kind of questions to expect, that should give him much more control during the test. I understand a lot of students, it would be like it would be the first time that they would be giving an online test. But I wanted to just also take this moment to just assure that you don't have to feel overwhelmed. It is not going to be very extensive, tough test. If you want, you can also refer to the previous webinar where we invited LGP 2024 students who gave some experience and their insights on what their experience was when they appeared for the test, and if there are any suggestions they would like to give. But be rest assured, it won't be essentially overwhelming thing. The only factor would be how many questions can you solve in the given set of time. So
Okay, can you arrange 2024 test for the students?
unfortunately, so none of the tests we make available.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a black box for us. So
Okay,
we don't
thank you.
close. Yeah.
Thank you then.
Next, we go to Shagufta Bano Sheikh. Shagufta, you can talk. Shagufta, you can unmute yourself and speak. We can't hear you if you are.
Hello, I'm
Yeah.
audible.
Yes.
So my question is about interview. So after passing this test, we have interview. So
Correct.
how the interview looks like? What kind of a question will ask?
So the kind of questions, interview will of course be either online or telephonic. We would essentially, and the intent of interview is to just understand the candidate better, because there are no avenues where we know of them. We just know of them that they are the test scores are good. So it is mostly to understand a candidate's motivation on their commitment. Uh, how does LGP align with their goals? And what is it that they intend to do after this program or during this program? So there are not many thorough tough questions, but it is more of an interaction to just get to know the applicant better.
So interview will happen in a bunch of group or in a large number of groups.
It's one-to-one interview.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We can go to Akarshana. Akarshana?
Hello.
Yeah.
So are we supposed to study like all the subjects which are science and math, or should we like only focus on the one which we have opted for?
So you are in which grade?
I'm in 10th, sorry.
10th, right? So you would have given a choice for science track or maths track, right?
Yeah, right.
So depending on the track, you would have to prepare accordingly. If it is maths track, then of course there is an advanced mathematics section. If it is science track, then of course there you have part A and part B on scientific inquisitiveness and social intelligence. And along with that, there would be basic mathematics. So some part of mathematics you have to prepare. I would not prescribe any additional or very out of the box preparation for mathematics. So that should do. So depends on your track.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any other question we have to take from the chat? Something which is repetitive, we need to clarify or something like that?
Yeah, can you let me know?
Manisha or somebody who can sort of scan.
One question is related to like students having issues in terms of the webcam, that their webcam is not working or they do not have any camera attached to their system.
So right now, do not be bothered with webcam. We clearly understand that not all have a functioning webcam or even a webcam present in the system. So that would not be an issue. The concerns or the guidelines that we have mentioned on things that you don't have to do essentially is opening up a new tab, taking up calls during the test, opening any other parallel app on the phone, or attempting to copy text, copy questions. Those are the things that you don't have to do. So as long as we are sticking to that, it's all perfectly fine. Do not worry about the webcams.
The other question is related to the range of courses which will be offered during the summer program and continued learning.
So for the for upcoming year for 2025, we will share the course outlines and the courses that would be covered slightly in the month of April. But if you wish to look at the previous courses that were covered in 2024, you can have a look at the website.
Just to clarify the course details, the 2025 course details will first only go to the people who are students who are selected, and then later on we will put it in the website. So it will be more accessible to the ones who are selected. But like Sanjeev said, if you want to get an idea of the courses, you can go to the website. But there will be minor changes here and there in terms of what kind of courses are coming in. But it will be pretty much the same categories of courses.
One more question is related to the tentative timeline of the announcement of result of the test as well as interview.
So expect the test results to be rolled out sometime in the last week of Feb. And the interviews, like we put forth, and the interviews would be somewhere in the month of March. Though that is broad timelines. Unfortunately, we won't be able to comment on a specific date, but that is the window.
And the last question, which is repetitive, is related to the difference of grades like grade 8, grade 9, grade 10 taking the test together. And because the syllabus is the same, so how will we like sort of the difficulty level, how are they going to manage that?
So one thing is, when you look at the test shortlisting, it won't be that a grade 9 student would be put in comparison to a grade 10 student or an 11 student. The test shortlist, when we'll say, it would be within your grades. So if I am a grade 8 student who's appearing for the test, my test scores will be compared and evaluated in comparison to the other grade 8 students. They won't be compared to a grade 10 students.
Yeah, these were the repetitive questions.
All right. So we have roughly 5-6 minutes left. If you have any additional questions, you may raise hand.
Yeah, so we have
And
many
ask.
people who have
Okay.
lined up for the raise hand. So let's take that now. So there
Yes.
is I'm going to allow Angel Serawat. Angel, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a question that if we got selected for camp, does we allowed to get phones?
Allowed to get?
Phones.
Phones,
Mobile phones.
yes.
Okay. Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Let's go to Bhushan now. Bhushan, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, my question is about the test. You said that there are two tracks, math and science. So I don't remember, but my daughter is in grade 8. She will be appearing for the test. So
She will be
where I
by,
can,
she will
sorry.
be by So by default, she will be placed in the junior track.
Okay, so junior track will have math, science both, or only math or science only?
During the program, it would be maths and science both.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so let's move to Kirti. Kirti, you can unmute yourself and speak now. Kirti, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you ask your question?
Yes, I'm audible, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is when I registered in the application, I didn't I didn't take the screenshot of the number we have to that we have to apply when we have to give the test. So can I apply it? Can I apply the application form once more?
No, that won't be required. If in case you have missed out, you can write to us on the email ID that was shared in the chat, and we can share your application number.
Thank you.
Irrespective, closer to the test date, we will be sharing to all the candidates on the details that they have filled. So you can make a note of that at that point as well.
Okay. Next we move to Maithili.
Yeah, hi. Just a quick question. For the interviews, will their students be interviewed by the faculty or TAs, or is it the LGP program team?
Will be done with by LGP program team.
All right, thanks. That was helpful.
All right. Next is Jayaditya. Jayaditya, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
So I'm currently in grade 11. I've taken science, and I wanted to ask what would be like an appropriate syllabus that we could revise, or some particular topics that we would brush upon. Because I'm in IB, so we don't have a lot of similar topics to Indian boards. So are there any specific topics or anything specific that we should learn and come, or yeah, that's my question.
So which track have you opted for? Sorry.
Science track.
For science track, there's no specific things. Basic mathematics would not essentially, it would be slightly below grade 11, grade 12 level math anyway, because it would test the basics of mathematics fundamentals. Along with that, so I would just suggest that you look at the sample questions first. You get a sense of what types of questions are usually asked. Basis that you would be able to make a much more informed choice on what set of questions are the ones that where you need to like practice more or brush up more, something of those sorts. Because since there is no dedicated syllabus, it is difficult for us also to answer. So it is very much subjective to the candidate.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Just a general question, Prasenjit, that some of them have forgotten which track they've chosen. So they're asking how to find out which track they've chosen.
Oh, that would be slightly difficult to gauge.
I think
one option is that we will share, when we share the application details, we will share which track you are in. If you are a grade 10 and grade 11 student currently, so we'll share that details with you. You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Let's go to Shalini now. Shalini, you can ask your question. Shalini, you there? Shalini? No, I think.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry if I missed this thing, but then this is an in-person course.
It is a mix of in-person plus online engagement. So one month a student will stay at Ashoka University, and followed by which there would be online interventions.
Okay. And when we say fully funded, that means it includes everything, or it's just the course fees?
It includes everything.
Okay.
Including your
Travel, stay,
transport.
food at Ashoka Laundry. So anything and everything that could possibly be an expense is covered by LGP.
And it will be in the Ashoka premises, university premises?
Correct. In the university premise.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We have reached
Yeah.
12:01. Are there any
We still
questions?
have, yeah. So we still have 4 people, but that's okay. I think we'll have to close it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I hope all your questions are answered. If in case you have more questions, you can write to us on the email ID that is shared in the chat, or alternatively, you can call us on our helpline numbers, which are also shared on the chat. The application deadline is tomorrow, so please do apply if you haven't applied already, or if your application is in process, please ensure that you complete it positively by today. If you have any further clarifications required for test, you can refer to the website and look for the online application, online test handbook document. You would have also received that document via email but only to applicants who have completed and submitted the application, or you who have started the application. But nonetheless, if you want it easily, it is available on the website. I think that is it. Thank you all so much for joining, and have a nice day and all the best for the test.